This is a new to Don 27-foot Panga. I think it's 26 and change. And this is a lot more boat. This is fantastic. This is a used boat. It's 2005. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this transom out. And we're going to make this an outboard boat. Just cut it out for regular 25-inch transom. I'm not going to go with twins. I'm still going to go with a single. The boat's rated for 200 horsepower. So we're going to put a 200 horsepower V6 on it. And when I'm done, this is going to be Don's Panga. Everything about it is going to be done the way I want. We're going to take it off the trailer. We're going to put it on boat stands. We're going to fix all any imperfections in the hull. It'll be painted inside, outside, gel coat where applicable. You name it. When it rolls out of here on its maiden voyage, you're not going to know this wasn't a brand new boat. Well, people keep asking me, "Hey Don, how's that Panga coming? It's been a long time." And now I can say, well, it's done. It's done for all general purposes. I got a few things to do to it, a little bit here and there, but I took it out the other day. I got a couple hours braking on the motor, and it performed very good. 37 Panga maiden voyage. Oh, she is running sweet. Let's take you through it. Let's just take a quick little rundown. What it looks like now. In the opening video, I showed you what it looked like when I got it. Front to back, paint job inside and out. Underneath the keel was all worn up. I think the people used to run it up onto a rock beach or something. I don't know. It was worn into the meat. I had to do a lot of work in there. But it's all painted. We got pinstriping on it. We got our logo for our fishing. Don't forget, all of our fishing now is on a different channel. It's on Captain Don's Big Bait, Big Fish. That's where you're going to find all our fishing videos. Don Does It is just going to be for all our fiberglass work and builds and different mechanical stuff. We've got the Honda, the BF200 on there. Honda Marine's been great to work with. This engine performed very well. You can see here I had to raise it up. I ran it for a couple hours, and looking over my cavitation plate was considerably underwater when I was on plane, so I just raised that up. I haven't tried it yet. Weather permitting, I'll try that tomorrow morning. But that came out really nice. It worked very well. The 200 seems to be plenty of motor on there. I didn't have the GPS turned on, so I can't tell you what my top end speed was or my cruising speed, but it felt like it was performing how I would want. We'll do a follow-up on that. Let's take you inside the boat. We'll come up in. We're going to start at the front, just like when we were building on it. We started at the front, and you see I got everything opened up. That's just, I always keep my boat opened up here in South Florida. It's so humid. You don't want the humidity building up on this stuff. So in the very, very, very front, we built this this front area for the trolling motor battery. We got a 24-volt, 60 amp hour lithium battery in there, and that's amazing. I can get like 4 fishing days out of one charge on that. I just can't say enough about that. But we had to build a floor in there to make all this so this battery would sit in there, and that worked out very well. This hatch is the only one of the original hatches in the boat. This was here, and this was for the anchor. And you can see I got 200 feet of rope in there, my anchor. I got 20 feet of stainless chain. We had to grind all that out and finish it out and gel coat it, and that came out nice. And you can see the witness marks on this hatch, and this was from the day it was new. Whoever rigged this boat, they put this hatch in upside down. You can see the bevel. So I turned it over and I scrubbed on that, but you can still see where it was, but you know, that doesn't hurt anything. Obviously all the all grip paint job inside. The floor is all gel coated and webbed. The seat bosses here, one on the left, one on the right, they were solid. There was no hatches here. Just solid seat bosses, and I cut them out, carved all the foam out, and made walls in there and floors, and finished that all out with gel coat. And now I've got storage left and right. That worked out fantastic. Moving our way back, we had the whole floor cut out because we had to put a new gas tank in it. The gas tank was bad. It was originally why we cut the floor. While we had the floor cut out, we added this, and this is in my end floor fish box, double wall insulated. I poured that. It's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick with heavy density foam, and you can see the drain in the back. That drains all the way through with 1.5 inches hose all the way to the back. It goes into a whale pump, they call it. It's a version of a macerator pump made for bait boxes and whatnot, and it pumps overboard, so fish scales or whatever won't hurt it. It's made to pump that out. I'm pleased with that. I tried it and it works like it should. Working our way back, there's the console. We rebuilt the whole console. It had holes everywhere, speakers, you name it, it had it. It had a front cooler seat that was built onto it, and it was too small. Interior, the seat wasn't insulated. It was really worthless, and the cushion was bad on it, and it cost plenty to make the cushions, get them reupholstered. It was odd size. So I got a Yeti cooler I'm gonna put there and get a cushion for that, and that'll be another seat for somebody, and I'll have a cooler for food and whatnot, so that's all great. The T-top, it was good enough, but you know, it'd been scratched and scarred here, there, and the other. So we obviously had this out when we were building the boat. We sanded it, scuffed it, washed it, prepped it, sanded it, scuffed it, washed it, prepped it again, because this is anodized aluminum. It takes a lot to get into that, but anyways, then we painted it with etching primer, and then painted it with this silver metallic, and it really looks good. I'm very pleased with that. And of course, the hard top, we had a canvas top up there that it came with, and the canvas was rotten, and once again, they wanted plenty of money for that piece of canvas, and I said, well, geez, for that much money, I'll build a hard top. And there we did, and it came out great. I'm very happy with that. It really just makes the boat. It sets it off. And of course, I gained a little bit of shade on that. I added 4.5 inches all the way around. Let's take you to the back. Here's my console. Obviously hydraulic steering, went for C-Star hydraulic steering. All Honda controls, of course, with the Honda. This is all fly-by-wire. And boy, I'll tell you, this is really nice. It's smooth. You know, if I'm trolling or whatnot, I can adjust my trolling speeds right on there. We got the Honda master control there. This tells me everything from RPMs to hours of operation and on and on. That's nice. And that all runs off of the NEMA network. And also our 12-inch SIMRAD is tied to the engine with the NEMA network. So I can touch my instrument icon on that, and I can read all my motor parameters. I can get my miles per hour. I can get my engine water coolant temperature. I can get my RPMs. You know, anything to do with the motor, I can bring right up on the SIMRAD. I'm really liking that. You know, all the waterproof switches. We got our wireless man overboard. Everything that's pretty simple there. Let's come around to the inside. We got our hatch access. When I bought this boat, I couldn't get this open. The latch was bad, and I had no idea what was in there. And believe you me, it was horrible. But anyways, I'm 99.99% done now. But there's all my wiring. I'm sorry I don't have a light in there, but as you can see, that's nice to look at there. That's pleasing. This is the ECU for that Honda, and then of course, you know, the backside of the gauges and the wireless, and up there's the SIMRAD. I got just some life jackets in my throwable in there now. I put my fire extinguisher and my horn right there on the back of the door. I'm like, well, when you need it, you need it. So you open the door, there it is. I don't have to flush around to find it. All right, what do you think so far? Let's keep working our way back. This is the lean and post rocket launcher out of the 22. We took it out because it was too wide for the 22. It just took up too much room back there. And I'm glad I didn't sell it, because here it is. This is perfect for this boat. As you can see, I'm walking around all this stuff. I got plenty of space now. And you know, of course, it's got the backrest and the rocket launchers on the back. And I was concerned that they would interfere with the T-top going up, because you know, this wasn't a package from new. But lucky for me, this worked. These rocket launchers, you put your pole in there and they come up behind the pole holders on the T-top. No worries at all. That worked out great. I was happy because I was going to use that rocket launcher. I was determined. Down here in the floor in the back, you can see I got this open up. This is my bilge access, and I got a nice big bilge access. I really like this. I can get to all my pumps. Here's my livewell pump, my 2,000 gallon bilge pump, automatic switch. You can see this hole in the bottom down here. That's my drain. And here's my drain plug. On this Panga, the water actually puddles up a couple, 2-3 feet forward of the transom. So no matter how high you jack the boat up on a trailer, we always wanted to keep the water in here. So I put an inboard drain plug in there, and I'm really happy. As you can see, it was dry in there, and that worked out great. The live well, a lot of you watch that, got built on the YouTube channel, and it's been tested now. It works out great. I used a 3/8 acrylic lid for that, and a little stop to hold it open. It fills. Here's my fill level, and I got a screw-in standpipe, so it just fills and drains. It keeps the water going. That worked out great. The back end, obviously we built it all out because it was an IO. And I built these walls on an angle going back so I can keep it washed out. We got our raw water washed down, and matter of fact, here's the access for that. There's the raw water pump, and it comes right off of the same scoop underneath as the live well works off of. And now when you're fishing throughout the day and you get fish guts and grime and blood all over your boat, you can keep it washed out, and it'll all wash out the transom. Where I added to this floor, because it used to be all empty as an IO, there was a motor there. Well, we took the floor from where we had to add to the deck and bring it back to the transom. It actually drops 1.5 inches as it goes down. And then there's a little well in the motor, a well in the well where my drain plugs are. And when I launched this, I was concerned that that was going to be above or below the water line. And lucky for me, them drain plugs are about 2 inches above the water. So that worked out perfect. You know, throughout the day I'm fishing, like I said, you get fish blood and whatnot. I can just keep it washed out the whole time. It makes it a lot easier to keep the boat clean than try to scrub all that stuff when you get home. And then that's pretty much it. We got, I don't know that you can see it down in there, but right there we got a dual purpose lithium battery on port and starboard. And they're pretty nice. They're light, and they you turn them on and off with your phone, maintain your charge rate with them. I really like that. Of course, the Honda, the BF200, it's so far, I only got a couple hours on it, but I'm very pleased with how it works out. So hey, it's been a year. Right out of the gate, I thought I'd do this in about 4 to 6 months. Not my fault. I kept adding things to the job. And of course I have other little jobs I have to do here and another in between. But sure happy with the way it turned out. We'll get this thing out on the water, and I'll do a little further break-in with the motor and show you how it runs on the water. All right, thanks for joining me.